I'm Dan Rogers, by the way. I'm the Executive Director of the Kelowna Chamber. It's a pleasure to have you here and see many of you face to face. We've had a couple of events already. Last month, we had a live audience. And we also were very fortunate to celebrate our top 40, over 40 amazing group of community leaders that we got together in this room last week. So it was wonderful to see them and inspiring to see what they are contributing to this community and continue to contribute. We reminded them that they may be recognized as the BDO top 40 over 40, but their job isn't done yet. This isn't a lifetime achievement award, so get back out there and do some good work and help the economy and help our communities grow. Before getting too far along, I do want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded ancestral traditional territory of the Seal Okanagan people. We thank them for their rich history and culture. So far, so good on the lunch. How was lunch here for the team here at the coach? And they are too looking at adjusting, and we're back doing these as is Rotary Club, so more and more opportunities for the hotel and venues like this. I'm curious, how many have been to, how many have not been to a chamber luncheon before? Okay, well, awesome. To our guest speakers, welcome, come anytime. We have an acknowledgement that we like to do at our head table, and it's called the chamber clap. So not thundering applause. And I think the history, somewhere along the line, there was a politician that was sitting at a table, didn't get a thundering applause. So he didn't feel real good, so we had to change that. This was decades ago, but that's consistency. So when I introduced our two tables of honor, it's just a simple clap when I finish. Pretty easy, right? And those that are veterans of chamber luncheons will be able to lead us through this. So I'm going to start at one table, and we'll bounce around here because we have two, and they're listed a little differently here. So I do want to first acknowledge our two guest speakers that are gathered here today, including the Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal of UBC Okanagan campus, Lesley Cormack. Awesome. The room over here has got to do a bit of work. And also joining us today, it's great, one of the new faces on campus, the president of Okanagan College, more formally introduced in just a moment. Please welcome Neil Fassina. Yeah, great. Also here, I want to welcome His Worship, Mayor Colin Basran. Also from the Okanagan School of Business, who will bring greetings on behalf of our speaker series sponsor, Associate Dean Laura Turnier. The Superintendent of Schools and CEO, Kevin Cardell. Kevin, you've been to a chamber luncheon before? Yes. You were a guest speaker, right? I was. Awesome. We're going to get you back because I heard nothing but good things. So Kevin, it's great to see you. I know you're extremely busy, so great to have you with us. As is the case with all of the others, but I just want to give Kevin a plug. And only because I wasn't at it, but I watched it on tape. You were great. By the way, you can watch all the videos on YouTube if you want to go back, like and share the videos. Especially the ones with Kevin in. Also want to acknowledge the president of your Kelowna Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Jeffrey Robinson. MLA for Kelowna West is Mr. Ben Stewart. I do want to acknowledge Ben's going to be with us for a bit, but he's on the Standing Committee of Finance, so might have to depart here. You're going to take it from here. So, and then you'll pause and get the input from the group of what you should be telling that Standing Committee on Finance, more money for post-secondary education, you know, helping students and employment. Absolutely. Awesome. Perfect. See a little advocacy in action. Also want to acknowledge joining us is another director with the Kelowna Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, sure, my phone's going off. From the Member Care Committee, the committee chair also sits on the executive, Pamela Pearson. And also joining us is a city appointee for the Kelowna Chamber Board, Councillor Maxine DeHart. And also from City Council, Councillor Ryan Dawn. And from the board of the Kelowna Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Derek Gratz. Anybody important I missed? Anybody want to be identified? Mark? No? No? from DKA, our partners. I'm going to flag out Laurel Douglas, the CEO from CBC. Give her a round of applause, and for the others. Oh, you guys are so oh, around means more than one. You know, just the head table is the one. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Good to see all of you out here this afternoon. I'm just trying to watch time. Do I get close to 12:30 to take a break? Jeff, we might get into yours, and then what we will do is we'll take a break after that. So at this stage, I am going to plug Jeff to come up here and provide a few words on behalf of the board. Give him a round of applause.
All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to our chamber luncheon. This is number 2 since the pandemic took us over about a year and a half ago. It's great to see a big room full again. Great to have a great meal. Thanks again to the Coast for putting on what's become almost standard for us, a really great meal. So let's give a round of applause for this. Excited today because we have 2 really important speakers. We have Lesley Cormack from UBC Okanagan, and we have Fassina from the college. These 2 institutions are really going to help drive Kelowna forward. There's no doubt that having institutes of higher learning, and especially impactful ones that we have, are going to be the key to growing this region. They're going to set us apart from other interior towns that don't have that kind of talent, that kind of vision, that kind of economic activity driving them forward. So it's great to hear from these 2 people what they've done in the past year to grapple with the pandemic, and also what they're going to bring to the region for the decades to come. Before I can sit down, I need to do some introductions for our President Circle members. Those of you who've been in the chamber a long time know that we depend on member support. Luncheons like this, the policy work we do, this all comes from the sponsors you see up there. And so I want to specifically thank Superior Savings, Lawyers for Business, MNP Accounting Consulting Tax, and of course UBC Okanagan. These are really the great sponsors that help us bring our programming to your members. And then next, I'll just acknowledge these are Catalyst and Growth members. These aren't President Circle, but they're right up there in the mix, giving us their loyalty and support year after year to help keep the lights on the chamber and to keep us fighting for business with our local government and senior level government partners. And finally, I'll highlight our chamber group insurance. For those that have small businesses looking to retain or attract talent, this is a really great program. It provides access to very low rates for group benefits, which research shows is very important to attracting good talent. So any questions about the chamber benefit program, you can talk to Lyndon or go in our office and talk to Shane. And finally, I'm going to do the happiest part of my day right now, and I hope Dom's here. Is Dom here? So with COVID having taken over the past year and a half, we haven't had the chance to acknowledge the contributions we get from our chamber board of directors. And that's a shame, because our board of directors, they do a lot of work that doesn't get seen. And one of the members of our board for many years did more than a lot of people, more than most. And those who know Dom know that he's got his finger in almost every pie in town, which is really important, because that attracts people to the chamber. It gives us a connection to so many different industries, so many different people. And so I'd like to call Dom up here right now, Dominic Ramponi, to give him a special thanks for his long service as the director of the Kelowna Chamber of Commerce. And a big round of applause. Stand picture there. Oh, okay. No, all right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's awesome. Appreciate it. All right, thanks everyone.
Call upon an old friend of the chamber, longtime advocate. She's been very active in the community, associate dean at the Okanagan School of Business. Give her a big round of applause, Laura Turner.
Thank you, Dan, and good afternoon, everyone. A pleasure to see you. I'm still excited to be out at an event and networking. The Okanagan School of Business is very pleased to continue to sponsor this luncheon series, especially today, as we focus on post-secondary education in our region. Since UBC Okanagan joined us in 2005, Okanagan College has strived to work collaboratively with them in many areas. I would like to quickly highlight a couple of current UBCO OC collaborations. The first one is the Kelowna Homelessness Research Collaborative. Our professors, Dr. Kylie Myra and Carrie Rempel, are founding members of this collaborative, working closely with Dr. John Graham and many other UBCO professors. This collaborative strives to overview local projects seeking to understand and support the provisions of services to and the perspectives of individuals with lived experience of homelessness or who are at risk of experiencing homelessness. If you are interested in learning more, they are doing a partnership and research seminar online on November 26th. Contact me at the end of luncheon and I can get you some more information. A second area of collaboration is OC working with the OC Entrepreneurship Incubator at Accelerate Okanagan. Last year, Dr. Blair Baldwin, I think you're here, Blair. Yeah, thank you. Worked with a number of UBCO students, helping them to develop their entrepreneurial ideas, and I know he greatly enjoyed working with this keen group of students. Dean Gillett, who sends his regrets today, and I recently met with Colin Gervais and Derek Gratz, Derek's a chamber director of UBC Okanagan, to discuss how we can continue this partnership with UBCO. I was actually going to today introduce all my fellow professors in the room, but after this room filled up with OC and UBCO staff and executives and faculty, I will just ask the OC faculty, staff, alumni, and executives to give a wave. So OC, see, this is a pretty big room. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from our two leaders today.
After which I leave behind more, my glasses and mask. Thanks very much, Laura, and it's a pleasure now to get on to our program. Just so you know how this will work, we'll have a presentation first from Lesley and then from Neil. They will move over to the fireside chat area or the bar, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll have some discussion there. I will facilitate that discussion, but I'm going to do it Donahue style, and then I puzzle my staff because many of them went, "What are you, Donahue? Who's Donahue?" How many know who Phil Donahue is, please? Thank you. Yes, one of the best in the business. To be honest with you, long before Oprah, Phil was out there doing a great job. So I will do my best to facilitate those discussions, but there will be opportunities for questions from the room, and we'll do them as long as time allows. So I will, when we get there, if you could just have your question ready, put your hand up and I will come over with the microphone. You probably could just blurt out loud what your question is, but we are recording, so we want to get everything as close to good quality audio. So I will race around the room like Phil used to do. So Lesley Cormack is our first speaker. It's great to have Lesley here. She's the Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal of UBC's Okanagan campus. Professor Cormack joined UBC in July of 2020 from the University of Alberta, where she served as Dean of the Faculty of Arts from 2010 to 2020, and previously led as Dean of Arts and Social Sciences at Simon Fraser University from 2007 to 2010. Lots of accolades and background. I would encourage you to do a little bit of a Google search, some fascinating history. Time does not allow us to go really deep, but it's great to have you participating in so many events already. Lesley, it was funny you mentioned this first time we met in person. I feel like we're old friends. We've seen it so many times on a Zoom or a Teams meeting. So it's great to have you here. How about a big round of applause for the new face on the campus?
Well, thank you very much, Jim. I have to admit, after a year and a half of just doing presentations on Zoom, I'm not sure if I remember how to do them in person. So if I stumble, that's my excuse. So you said on the right side. Oh, it's over here. Okay. So before I start, I do want to say that one of the things that attracted me to this position when I came was, in fact, the relationship with Okanagan College. That this is, you may not know how unusual it is to have a great relationship between a university and a college in the same place. I think that the people whose shoulders we stand on have a lot to be proud of, that you have created two amazing institutions, both of which are flourishing and working together. And I think we are committed to keep that moving forward. So thank all of you who have had anything to do with that in the first place. And you should really feel like this makes a difference to this community, and a really good difference. Okay. Here we go. So, as you see, I'm Lesley. That confused me. I'm Lesley Cormack, and I am the DDC and principal at UBC Okanagan. There's many things that I could say to you. This was flagged as new faces on campus, and of course I have been here for 16 or 17 months, but it does feel very much like I'm a new face because it has been sitting and looking at my Zoom squares, and so I'm just delighted to see you all here in person. I joined as the pandemic was well underway, and so everything I know about Kelowna and UBC have been from that pandemic lens. And as you see, prior to coming here, I was at the University of Alberta for 10 years. As it says there, I love theater, so I was glad to see. I went to Ballet Kelowna on the weekend, which was fabulous. I am a historian, early modern historian, and have a great love of maps and globes, so that if someday I actually have time to work on that, I'm working on a history of the first globes made in England. And I do love wine, and so that turned out to be a good thing to move to the Okanagan about. But what I would say as an academic is that I'm still doing some research on wine. So it has been amazing to welcome back students this year to campus. We had a successful year last year, completely online. But it was really quite an operation to make sure that we kept in touch with our students, that they were successful, that we did that all in this new technology that we didn't know. So I was saying to my table that one of the jokes I often make is, if we as a university had started by saying, let's do all our courses online, we would have had people saying, well, I think we need some task forces. I think we need to think about this. 5 years later, we would still be having that conversation with everyone saying, well, let's not rush anything. Whereas what we said is, on Tuesday, everyone will be online. And people said, okay. And they did it. And you know what? It didn't suck. Some of it did, but lots of it didn't. And we learned a tremendous amount. And I feel very strongly that those of us who don't learn from this, if we go back to the way things were without any changes, then we learned nothing from the pandemic. And I think we've learned a lot, and I think that we can deliver better pedagogy to our students, better integration of our staff and faculty, better connection to the community. And so we just need to figure out where's the sweet spot of in-person and online, and work from there. But as you see, we have increased our student numbers. So this really does tell you what's been happening with UBC Okanagan, that even during the pandemic and beyond, we have grown in just about every part of our campus. We have domestic students, international students, graduate students, all have grown. So we are bursting at the seams, but in a good way. We have more and more excellent students who are coming and want UBCO as their first choice. And we're really committed to make sure that they have an excellent experience on campus. So you can see we have over 11,000 students, 3,000 of whom are new students, and many, many countries represented. So we are a research-intensive university. That UBCO, when it was founded, its founding documents show us to be a research university, which is, I think, very, very important to what we do. And we are doing research that has an impact in this community. We are doing research which is of global importance and absolutely connected to the community that we're in. This is, again, one of the things that really attracted me to UBCO was that sweet spot of excellence in research and pedagogy, but excellence in research, and at the same time, the importance of partnering with the community to make sure that we are together becoming better institutions, better cultures, better societies. And these are some of the areas, I'm not going to go through them in any detail, of the kind of research that we are working on and that are making a difference in Kelowna and in the Okanagan every day. One of the metrics that you can see on the slide is that we have been bringing in research money. This includes government research money, industry, and it has grown exponentially. Maybe that's not quite right. I'm a humanist, not a mathematician. It has been growing very fast. And so this last year, we brought in almost $40 million in the year in research dollars. This is really quite astonishing. And one of the things that we remind our Vancouver mothership is that without us, they would be ranked third in the country in research productivity. With us, they are second in the country. So UBCO actually matters to the UBC Vancouver, as we call it, UBC as they call it. But we have a vision for the future. So where do we go next? That a few years ago, before I came, UBC embarked on a visioning process, which they call Outlook 2040, which was a series of really bold aspirations. And what's amazing is in a very short time, we've actually started to achieve some of those aspirations. The increase in our student numbers, the increase in our research productivity, the increase in our size, although that's the trailing factor for us. We need space and we're trying to work on space. Our plan for 2040 was that we would have 18,000 students registered. Those would not all be undergraduate students all in classes. That would also include micro-credentials, post-baccalaureate certificates, courses that would be online. And so it would be a variety of things, but that would be about the number we would look for as an ending point for this campus. We also are looking to bring into the community $100 million a year in research grants and productivity. As you can see, we're on our way to that. And so that's actually an achievable goal by 2040. And that we would make a $4.8 billion economic impact to the region. And again, I think we're on the way to doing that. And so this is an outlook, it's a vision, but it's one that we really are working towards achieving. So I think the trajectory is good, and I think we have lots of possibilities. So we're growing with the Okanagan. That our aspirations and growth translate, I think, directly into benefits for the community, including choosing the growing number of our alumni who are choosing to live here in the region. That our students, only about 25% of our students come from the central Okanagan region, and almost 50% of our graduates stay here in this region. And so that shows you that we are a net gainer, you are a net gainer, that we are bringing in students, graduates, who are smart, who are diverse, who are entrepreneurial, and really helping to build and transform the society around them. So I think this is a really exciting aspect of what UBCO is doing, not least because I feel like this is our future. Our students, our graduates are the ones who are going to solve the problems. And we need to make sure that they're equipped to do it and that they then have success out in the community and in industry and in their chosen fields so that they can help us solve the big wicked problems of the world that really exist. This is a university that's helping to drive growth and innovation, that's creating opportunities for local students and those who come after to pursue their studies, and also creating the possibility of answering some of the issues, some of the problems, some of the industry possibilities that we have in the central Okanagan. We do serve the community. While many of those choosing to stay in the region, it's because of the positive interactions that they have in the community that make them want to have the Okanagan as their home. I mean, I feel so strongly that we are in a symbiotic relationship, that we are working together to make sure that our students want to be here, that they are having a good experience, and that we are helping to change the society and create the society together. But through our students, we have co-op placements, we have MyTac internships, programs like the Arts Career Apprenticeship Program. Our students are bringing the skills and their learnings out into the community, and they're learning from employers, from those placements as well. That this really is a two-way street. The students aren't just coming and telling people how it should be done. They're learning what it actually looks like out in the world and bringing that back into the classroom. So it's a really important relationship, if you will, between them. We're also working to provide more programs that meet the skills gaps of our region. So I think we're answering the call for training opportunities for nurses and other healthcare professionals, as well as developing a new computer engineering program that will help meet the needs of the tech sector. We're really looking at some of those capacity building in areas that I think are so important to this region. And we were very pleased that we got new spots, new seats, if you will, for nurses this last year. So we've been able to increase the size of our nursing program. We are looking for that computer engineering program to see what we can do to bring that into the community as well. So we're really looking forward to expanding our opportunities to do more with the community, and particularly, of course, in our downtown location. The incredible growth of UBC in its short history does mean that our campus is like completely full. I mean, this is when I came for my interview, when I came at first as a TDC, that's what I heard from everyone. We need space. We need research space. We need teaching space. We need every kind of space you can imagine. And the good news is that we're already on our way to some of the projects that we need to be working on. And I do think that the downtown project is going to be just transformational for us. And I think for Kelowna as well. I think this is going to be a really exciting possibility. We're so pleased that we announced the purchase of 550 Doyle, which of course is where the Daily Courier was. I drive by, like, I'll be there, look at that, I can be there. We're so excited that we're in close proximity to our partners in the Innovation Center, Interior Health, Downtown Business District, the Arts and Cultural District, and we're eager for the construction to begin in 2022. It's taken a little while to get that going, but we feel pretty confident that we'll have shovels in the ground in the spring, with a goal of 2025 as the opening for that. Of course, in addition to downtown, we're working actively to build out on the UBC Okanagan campus with a number of capital projects underway. I'm not going to go through all of these, that would drive you crazy, but those show you the ones that we have completed and the ones that are in progress, which we're very excited about. The ones completed include things that allow us to really be full scientific partners by having a plant facility, earlier having a live animal facility. But I will just point out the Schema Student Residence, which opened last year, and it was the first passive house construction build in Canada, and we were very pleased to be able to tour the premier through it in the summer, and it has actually changed construction plans and construction methods, if you will, by its very existence. My favorite part of the touring with the Premier was when the architect was able to say, well, Mr. Premier, because of this passive house construction, we've been able to purchase the windows from local interior manufacturers who now can do that up to the passive house level. And he said, oh, where are they? And they said, well, the headquarters is in Kelowna. And the Premier was surprised. So there we go. But the other big one that we're building is the Interdisciplinary Collaboration Innovation Building, which also we are hoping will be finished by 2025. We, of course, do have many partnerships with Okanagan College. As I said, I'm coming to the end. It's the problem when you're a university lecturer. I'm used to the 50 minutes, so I'm not going to keep you that long. Though Neil and I are new faces on campus, we're building, as I say, on a long history of partnership and collaboration between the two institutions, which have been really instrumental to our shared success. A number of people who've been key to building and operationalizing our partnership are here today. Including on the UBC side, Orhan Sadiq, who I know I saw come in, so there he is. head of our School of Engineering, and Sharia Alam from, may not be there, lead researcher on the Wilden, oh, there you go, sorry, I looked the wrong way there, on the Wilden Living Lab initiative and director of the Green Construction Research and Training Center. The OC-UBCO relationship originates, I think, from our shared beginnings, but more importantly, I think it's because of the unique contributions of each institution that they're able to bring to the table and to the needs of the community. We're not trying to replicate each other, we are trying to be complementary, and I think that really does work and needs to be nurtured, but really makes a difference. The Wilden Living Lab initiative is an excellent example of that. With phase 2 recently launched, the two institutions have come together once again with Wilden, Authentic Homes, and Fortis BC in the pursuit of net zero status for new households, investigating the optimal construction, the combination of materials, systems, and construction practices. It's very exciting, and especially so as we all sit and watch COP26, how we need to move to net zero. And so this is a really important and timely project that I think could really make the Valley first in some of these kind of issues. I really encourage everyone who's interested to talk to our colleagues. So once again, I'm delighted to be here. I think that we can all and should be partners together in the success of this part of the world and for our students and the future of our world. So thank you very much for this exciting opportunity. I'm looking forward to the Q&A and talking with Neil about what we can do. And now I will pass it to my friend and colleague, Neil Fassina.
Well, thanks very much, Lesley. It was interesting to listen and the way you put it so precisely that both institutions, and I think by extension our other educational organization are building and shaping and providing the skills for a future generation to solve the many problems before us. And on behalf of the last of the baby boomers, I want to just acknowledge how much contribution we've made to creating problems. So we've actually helped our institution to give you lots of opportunities for those students when they graduate to go on to solve the many problems that we created. So thank goodness that's there. So it's a pleasure to turn things over to Dr. Neil Fassina now. He's the president of Okanagan College. Neil joined the college in April of 2021. A good time for a career move, I suppose, right during the pandemic, why not? From the University of Athabasca, where he served as president from 2016 to 2021. Previously he served as provost and vice president academic at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology and as dean of the J.R. Shaw School of Business and School of Hospitality and Culinary Arts. Great to have him here. Give him a big, warm welcome.
Right. Wyatt, and hello. As mentioned, my name is Neil Fassina, and I'm glad that Dan did not invite you to Google me, because if you're looking for a cure for insomnia, I highly encourage it on a Friday. So I'm excited incredibly to be here with you, particularly in person. As a newcomer to this region, it's so nice to be able to put faces and smiling faces at that to names. Knowing that today is among the first of many conversations that we're going to be able to have in the weeks, months, and years to come. And as I shared with Maxine, it's because I'm here to stay and definitely want to be able to engage that as much as we can in the many years that are before us. As Dan was highlighting, I think you can probably bet the last 7 months have been fairly transformational, both personally and for the college. As you highlighted, no better time than April to do a career transition, because nothing says fun like moving provinces in a pandemic, nor starting a job in a pandemic. Right. So, but to top it all off, the part that Dan left out is I started on April 1st. So after it takes months to convince people that it wasn't a wild April Fool's joke, you finally get to learn the people and the different parts of the college that make it such an incredibly interesting and amazing institution that ranges everywhere from Revelstoke down to the US border. And now, while I haven't had a chance to meet every single individual in the college, I do want to say that I have had the chance to be able to share stories with so many of them and learn what an incredible organization it is, and frankly, the impact that it has. And what I mean by that is it's incredibly humbling when you think that, you know, this year alone, we're looking at 16,000 plus people that are going to engage us as a college. And that admittedly is down, and it's a little bit because of pandemic, but frankly, it's because of a labor market. There are times where people just can't come to us anymore because they are so tight right now. And so it's kind of a catch-22, right? But nevertheless, you think about that in a different form. That is almost 1 in 20 people in the entire region will have an experience with Okanagan College in any given year. The responsibility of the college that comes along with that is incredible. And obviously it's an incredible honor to be able to be part of every one of those individuals' learning journey. As many of you will know, our mission at the college is to transform lives and transform communities. And to all of the members of the Okanagan College community that are here, that make that come to life every single day, that starts in the classrooms, that starts in the labs, that starts in the shop, and it moves into the community. And over the years, the college has grown with the community and responding to the needs of the community. And we look to being able to do so in meaningful ways and contribute in meaningful ways in the many years to come. And I don't want to sound cliche, but it really becomes like we're a reflection of each other. And that's actually a good thing, because what that does is it keeps us connected. It keeps us wanting to know more about what the community needs and how we can help. And really returns us back to that mission of wanting to transform lives and communities, and knowing in so many ways it starts with members like you. And so, because we're talking about connections, I'm going to be remiss if I don't say an immense thank you to everyone that's in the room that's been part of a journey at Okanagan College. It is members of our business community that truly keep us on our toes in a good way, because it allows us to stay ahead of the game and understand what you're going to need not only today, but into the future. And it's remarkable to think that over 1,000 organizations are connected to Okanagan College every year to be able to create learning experiences for students, whether those be co-op students, whether those be work integrated learning experiences or community learning experiences. And through these connections, we can stay connected into what is needed both today and into the future. I'm also grateful to know that those partnerships are working in both directions. So amazing thanks goes out to all the members that are connected to our students and allowing our students to have real life experiences. And then in return, being able to see the growth and the contribution that our students are making every single day, whether that be through an employment opportunity or whether that be through a self-directed student-focused activity like our Enactus group. And speaking of kind of having that impact, you need only look to the most recent edition on our campus to know how a community can come together and create greatness. And so we were honored to open our new health sciences building on October 1st. And for anyone that hasn't been on campus recently, which is kind of everyone, I highly encourage you to come out, check out this building. It is state of the art. It is an incredible facility that truly opens your eyes into the possibilities of what's available to us. Everything from nursing to therapy assistant to healthcare assistant to farm tech to early childhood education. The learning spaces and the labs in this environment are awesome. And they are thanks to so many members like you who have made that vision a reality. And I have to be careful here because I'm going to get in trouble if I don't mention it. But Helen Jackman, who's sitting in the room, Helen's the director of advancement at the college, and Maxine DeHart, who is an unwavering champion in our community for this project. And just to let you know, we are this close to getting to our goal. And so if you want to help change the face of
Wait a minute.
if you want to help change the face, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty confident our health teams have been busy over the last 19, 20 months, right? But we really, in all seriousness, it's about changing the face of health as we look into the future. The future of health is like so many other things that are happening at the college. And what I mean by that is that regardless of what we're talking about at the college, it is about the string that holds us all together in trying to solve challenges or create opportunities. And I don't know that there is an opportunity or a challenge that could be raised in this room in which UBCO and Okanagan College could not impart our knowledge, our people, our research, or our actions towards solving. Whether or not that be about affordability, about housing, about social justice, about climate crisis. These are just a couple of the examples of the way that these institutions work together to try to create true social change. And this is where it gets exciting, because this is where we get to talk to you. It's about understanding what you need today. It's about understanding what you need tomorrow. And it's about understanding what you need in 10, 20, and 30 years and how we can rise to that challenge. Because together we hold a tremendous responsibility as leaders in the community. And this means that we need to stay ahead of the curve. And in particular, now more than ever, because the challenges and opportunities that we're facing are more complex than they have ever been in our history. And in order for us to be part of those solutions, we need to be invited into those conversations earlier. And as Lesley was saying, there is a very, very unique opportunity in this valley. And I say that having lived in multiple jurisdictions across the country. And the fact that there are two higher education institutions that don't compete, they collaborate and they complement each other. And then when you add in Kevin and the school district, you have a very unique formula. We have a very unique formula for the K to grade learning cycle that allows us to create meaningful learning opportunities and meaningful employment throughout someone's entire life within a single region. That is an incredible jewel that we need to hold on to in every way, shape, and form, because I will tell you again, it is unique to this region and the fact that often you see higher education institutions competing, not collaborating, which is very, very cool. And I can tell you that Lesley and I and Kevin are incredibly dedicated to making sure that that never goes away. The breadth and depth of what we have here is incredible, and we want to make sure that it stays. And as part of that, it's individuals like you that become the lifeblood of our future, because we need to know what you need tomorrow. We need to know what the region needs tomorrow. And we need to know what problems our students, our grads, and our educators can solve with you. So my invitation to you, and I'm speaking on behalf of both Lesley and I, is stay connected. We want you to be part of our journeys. We want to understand where you need us to be. And equally, we want to be part of your journeys. Invite us in. As Lesley said, we're both new faces to the community. We're both here to stay. We want to be part of your journeys. I've got that stack of business cards. Before you leave, if you want one, I know Lesley's going to have them around somewhere. But our ask is just to miss, right? No pressure, Lesley. But I'm just asking you, invite us into your conversations. So with that, Lemlet, Cookstown, thank you. And I will turn it over to, fortunately not Jerry Springer, for the next part of our conversation.
Our team goes to work. We have time for some questions. I will start with a couple, but if there are those that have some questions, we'll go around and put up your hands with the microphone. All right, should we see? We here? How are we? Leslie? Like there, we'll adjust your mics as we go along. And Neil? All right. Here. We're talking. So let's kick this off. Interesting, and I think it's appropriate. I'm sure you would agree. I'm new to this, fairly new, 6 years, 8 years in the Valley, and impressed with the cooperation that has occurred. Institutions, that doesn't happen without leadership, and I acknowledge the leadership that came before you, and I think they deserve a round of applause for setting the stage for the would agree didn't happen without leadership at the local level too. So congratulations on the work of your predecessors for setting the stage for that collaboration. But you're new, relatively speaking. So what observations do you make where the gaps are those challenges when you come into this community and look, and it's nice, the accolades and the great relationships, but where are the gaps? Where's the most need from your perspective? And either one of you want to start that off?
I feel that feels like a trick question. There's this guy. Oh, there isn't. You just don't know it. I mean, I want to start by saying that for Neil and I recognize we don't actually know very much because we've been here for a short period of time. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know very much. But what I would say, I mean, where I think the next important place is going to be, which we were already working on, is clean tech, sustainability. How are we going to move forward to make this a real hub in Canada, in the world? And as I said, I think that's already happening, but I think that we want to increase it even more. The other place that I would love to be helpful, and I think we really need to do some work, is looking at anti-racism and how we make sure that as a community we are equitable and welcoming, and then there's the arts, which I think we can help with as well.
All right, Neil, well, the language is going to check on those.
Sure.
Oh, you know, we hear you. Just I might switch mic.
So just adding on to what Lesley is saying, some of the pieces that have been shared with me in my time here is, in addition to how do we create a bit of a hub or more of a hub within the community for emergent industry, as well as the industry that's been here for a while that is frankly just being disrupted kind of at every corner, whether or not it be technology or pandemic, is partnering that with an opportunity for youth to develop and learn and grow and stay in community and be able to create that meaningful opportunity for them and their families. So it's the conversations with parents that are saying, geez, I'm worried that my son or daughter isn't going to be able to continue to be here just because of affordability questions, or put challenge in place here. And I think there's a very substantial leadership role for the two institutions to play in terms of creating that sustainable growth and that meaningful growth where people can be proud and be part of our community for their lives.
I'm curious, and if there's some questions, if you want to raise your hand, I'll come around to you. Great, thank you. But to get us there, lessons learned. Life's always a lesson, and it's amazing. Even later in life, you learn some lessons. One of those is, and one of my favorite lines during the pandemic, when someone asked a question, I don't know, it's my first pandemic. So what do you know now as a leader that has shaped you in any positive ways or lessons, your takeaways in facing COVID-19?
Sure. So I think there are a couple of this, again, full of cliches today. It's never a waste of a crisis. And what I mean by that is that the last 18 months have forced us to challenge some of the assumptions that we've made, whether or not it be in business or in higher education. So Lesley highlighted the role of technology in enabling learning opportunities, dismantling barriers that would prevent access to higher education. A lot of that can be tackled using some of those tools and augmenting our world with some of those tools. But I think it's also some of the lessons learned is how quickly your business cycles have changed, right? So when we used to think about the business cycles being over potential years and higher education having to keep up with that, you're talking about business cycles that are lasting weeks now. And how do we respond at that speed as well, right? So it's about fundamentally questioning the way that we kind of operationalize things so that we can continue to remain at the forefront of your minds as a solution. So lessons learned is let's just take those assumptions and wipe them away and actually realize what we can do.
Whereas what I would say is the first thing that I learned is that people are very resilient. That people were able to take what seemed like life-changing situations and really make them work for themselves and make them work for us. And that productivity didn't just mean being under the eagle eye of your manager 8 hours a day. It actually had to do with trust and allowing the team that kind of flexibility to do the work they need to do. So I think those have been very exciting. That's also true for our students. But I think we also learned we need people. I think that we learned that we're not just squares on a screen, that we actually do need to work together. One of the things that really struck me that as soon as we reopened, our students were just delighted to be back and to be on campus and together. And it wasn't about partying. Okay, there's a little bit about partying, but it was mostly about the possibility of working together and being together and bouncing ideas off each other, because that's how we change and move forward. So we want the good things we learned, like don't go back to everything the same, but remember that we actually need each other.
So don't let me party animals onto you, decades.
Yeah, it's totally good.
That's a whole different.
Thanks, Sam. First of all, I want to thank you for your service and your courage and your leadership, because this has been a big time for all of us, and no less than in your organization. I'd like to ask a question around and ask you to share some stories about the intersection and interdisciplinary research that's going on, because what we're finding in our practice is the whole area, we were talking about in terms of short business cycles, is also being exacerbated by this need to find new ways forward. And I think the interdisciplinary approaches are really exciting. Can you share some stories of that type of work you're doing?
Well, I'll start out. There's people in the audience who know more than I do about the specifics. I actually do think that that's one of the great things that UBCO has to offer, is that we're small enough and we haven't set up silos in the way that, say, our mothership was done in Vancouver, partly to do with being over 100 years old and some very specific things, so that we can have those conversations together. Interdisciplinary is hard because it's not just people with different knowledge come together and they solve something. It's also about generosity. It's about people recognizing that you may know something that I don't know, and that's okay. And you may not know something I know, and that's okay. It doesn't make you an idiot. It doesn't make you an idiot. We can work together to do it. I think we're starting to see that really catching on in the questions of sustainability and climate change. And that's a place that it's just so clear that the solutions to that are not going to just be technological, or not just scientific, not just social. They're all those things. I actually think we've not done as good a job on that in terms of the pandemic. That when I watch the kind of struggling that we're seeing governments and public health and universities doing about what should we do, how should we react, I mean, I say this as someone who comes from the humanities and social sciences side, we've forgotten how people behave, that we haven't taken that into account. And so we need to come together to say, yes, this is about science, technology, medicine, but it's also about people. And that's going to be true for, the gray tsunami that's coming to us too. These are all holistic problems. They're all going to need holistic answers. Go.
Fall on the floor. And I would only add to it, again, going back to the uniqueness of what we have between UBCO and Okanagan College, that when we're talking about some of the challenges, and I'm thinking of one that's looking at Andrew, who's one of the leads on this, but things like the questions on recycling and how do we improve the efficiency of recycling. That brings together engineering at UBCO or Eng Tech at the college, and then just the great minds that are able to flow back and forth between the two of them. And it kind of floats between design and construction, like any challenge would, right? It's not simply a design challenge that a single individual might be able to handle. You actually have to bring different minds to the table. And we're seeing that in a whole series of different challenges or a whole series of different research questions. And one of the things that I think enables that here is twofold. Number one is our size, our relative size is. We're not behemoths, right? And so you've got the ability for just regular collisions between very smart people, whether or not it be within one of the institutions or between the two institutions. And it's, hey, I'm going to call up Dan because I happen to know that he's working on something. And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll direct me somewhere else. So there's still a little bit of that small community going on, both within and between the two institutions. There's also that connection to community. And I say that, so Laura talked about our research project around homelessness in the city here. We're talking about researchers that are embedded, right? They never lost a connection to a community. They're members of the community that they're trying to help. They're caring members of the community. So when I say they're connected, I literally mean they're walking the street in the community. And you can do that when you've got that flexibility of being, again, in an environment that can create flexibility for our different team members. So that would be the two pieces I'd add to what Lesley said.
All right, thanks. And conscious of the time, respectful of the time, we have 2 questions in the queue, and then we'll wrap things up. We'll have one here, and then I'll come over there. And Phil never gave up the microphone, so I lost the first time around. Just for COVID, I'll be the microphone stand.
Thank you so much for the fantastic presentation today. One thing I'm super excited about is the collaboration between K-12, college, and the university. That really is the showing how promising our future will be in the valley. So my question is a little bit big in terms of philosophical aspect. You know, we build the universities, colleges, the original purpose is to train people having technical skills so they can find a job in the society. So there's 2 camps. One camp think we should continue what we're doing to make people learn skills, become professionals, and how they dealing with their life, their obstacles, their hardships is their own. Its own business, have nothing to do with the university. But on the other camp feels like university should take on more and more responsibilities, not only just shaping their people's knowledge, they should also help them to learn how to be a good citizens, how to have good communication skills, how to hold their ethical standard, and most importantly, how to deal with their mental challenges in life. So I'm really curious about your view as the leaders in the region, because Harvard has a happiness class, which is explode on campus. They plan to have 100 students enrolled and end up with over 1,000 students enrolled. I know we both, like both university and college have mental healthness programs, but that's a side program. So how would you view in the next 5-10 years? Are you gonna incorporate this element, or are you gonna just carry on? So that's my question. Thank you very much.
All right, 30 seconds.
I was just going to say.
No, excellent question. I'm tempted to almost the vision of education. Has that changed and influence? And if one of you could respond, and then we'll do the one last question.
All right, I think I know. Okay, at least I have some ideas. I mean, I think on the one hand, I could actually challenge you about the mission of universities and colleges is simply about skills acquisition. It's about lifelong learning as well. Certainly universities are more looking at, how do you build thinkers and citizens. But I do think the question of the whole person is a really important one. I think that we have gone from just saying you just sit in the class for that moment, and whatever happens elsewhere is somebody else's business, to realizing that we are not those kind of people. Like people are holistic and they need to be supported in all those ways. That said, it's kind of I don't have a good answer for this, because I think that this is the big question for us as instructors, as institutes that teach and foster young people, of how do we make them resilient to go into the world so they can be successful, which doesn't necessarily mean we all become mental health experts, but somehow give them enough strength so that they can move forward and be adults in the world themselves. I don't know if you wanted to add to that.
I'm thinking you got the hard question. I'm curious what. No, I think in the holistic well-being, we can't do it without consideration of the holistic individual. And it just, the only thing I would add is the college and the university can't do it alone. That is a partnership. That is a partnership with interior health. That is a partnership with community. That is a partnership with the K-12 not-for-profits. It's going to take the community to create that holistic well-being.
And those were parents too.
Great response. One last question here.
No. Thank you very much. I don't have a negative.
Hold on.
No, thank you. And just from the city of Kelowna side, I can't say enough about how well the institutions have come and provided us with the conversation you said. Across the board, your staff consistently reaches out to us and are always having a conversation. Like I can't imagine a better relationship. So thank you. The one question I do have is around, talked about UBC 2040, Okanagan College strategic plan. You know, you have in the room here the business community, government, and the likes. How can we help come alongside and advocate, raise the profile to ensure that these visions are actually met?
Cool. Okay. So fantastic question. And then as you kind of indicated, I think with the government, business community, the community more generally, and then the institutions, it really does have to become that partnership conversation. The closer we can be connected to the community, the faster we can meet the needs of the community, the faster the community responds, right? And if we can create that, or I should say, feed that virtuous cycle, then really the politics follow, right? The politics are there to enable, the politics are there to create constructive or create a policy so that we can keep that virtuous cycle going. And so you can't do it without any one of those parties. It actually has to be everyone holding hands together, but it's recognizing that the more we can stay connected, the faster we can make that more fun.
Well, I would add, we want to be worthy of your advocacy, so that and support, so that at difficult times we can come together and make common cause in certain ways. I think for right now, I'm concerned about affordable housing, about transit, about how we move forward in sustainability, and those are all conversations and collaborations that we have to do together. But I think it's also really important that at moments when we need to go to government, we need help for our students, we want friends, we need to have that connection there. So we need to deserve it, but we all need to be in it together.
I think that was the last question, but it's left 20, so we're going to go for one more question.
Thank you very much. My name is Sadiq from UBC. I just want to make a comment. Thanks first time meeting you. I'm a professor at UBC. We have been, I'm a civil engineer and been hearing all the time about smart cities. I think Okanagan is a smart city, not because of the technology we're going to implement, because of the institutions. And I think that's one comment I really would like to make to this group, that this partnership is extremely important. And we have shown few examples, and I really love to see that some exceptional programs coming out of these two institutions, which can help economy move. I think it's extremely important for us to become a really, at least from my engineering perspective, I'd like to see a tech will be the area which we can be feeding really top class professionals into this discipline. And I think both institutions need to work together on that. Thank you very much.
Any final thoughts you want to pass on? I'd like to give a round of applause. Give a round of applause. I'll let you withdraw.
Well, I wrote it down. I do want to say
Sure.
thank you for letting us do this. Thank you for listening to us. This has been a treat. I think we both feel that Neil and I met you a while ago, and Neil said, well, how do you get into to see people in Kelowna? And I said, that's a good question. So here we are, and thank you. And please reach out, and we'd love to talk to you individually in groups, whatever.
We look forward to having you back. Thanks. Give them one more round of applause. I think it's a couple of other housekeeping items, and so you want me to stay over here so we don't have to jostle around with the different cameras. So I'll go to the stage over here to wrap things up. Thanks for coming out. I want to thank the question over here particularly. As I said to some folks I know recently, we'll get those microphones turned off. We need to have more of those types of conversations. The one thing that certainly I've found, we get on this treadmill during the pandemic of just getting things going on, to ask the deepest questions. So thanks for that. And I think the answer is we need more conversations around that. And Lauren will help you with those microphones before we get to any feedback. Just to let you know, Lesley, Neil, we tradition of thanking our speakers by making a donation on your behalf to the local charity. So Project Literacy will be receiving some funds for us. Again, thanking you for your time today. So big round of applause for them. Thank you very much for Project Literacy. And we have road prize giveaway. What's the tickets for the Rockets game? Tomorrow. Kevin, you want to help me? Open up. Thank you, sir. Close to it. And so, Adrian Renault, looks like. Adrian, congratulations. Thanks for coming out today and being patient with the ceremonies next door. We're a little bit longer today, so thanks. Good discussion. I'm sure they'll hang around. And please join us on December 10th, Friday, December 10th, our Christmas luncheon. Sure, we'll tell the MLAs that. They're providing the updates from Victoria, so we'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks very much. Have a great day.